We want to take a listen to our lady. So let's listen to her.
I don't know how I'll tell my story, but I will, because I need help. So I love the family that my husband and I have built. It's a beautiful one. We are a middle-income home. He works with a government agency and I run a salon. And life has not been really easy, especially with my business struggling. So some time ago, when things became very tough, all I could turn to was prayer. I joined a prayer session on YouTube, and during one of the sessions, the man of God gave a word that really felt personal to me. It really touched me, and everything he said was very accurate about myself. So since then, I trusted the man of God and decided to attend in person. So I started attending in person, and during one of the prayer sessions, the man of God prophesied again to me, right? And again, everything he said really hit every point. Everything was so accurate. And then he asked that I see him, personally. So I made time one day and went to visit at the office for consultation. During this visit, he spoke directly to me and shared some words with me. And I don't know, but I got very emotional and started crying because, I don't know, but everything he said again felt deeply, deeply moving. So I got emotional. I was crying, and he tried consoling me. He was consoling me, and in that moment, I don't know, something shifted. He began kissing me, and I didn't stop it. We kissed, and before I could realize, we had sex in his office. And I am not proud about this at all. I left the office that day very confused and haven't been in contact since then with the church or the man of God. And it's been 3 months since this happened, but Asiedua, I still feel very, very, very bad about this. I don't know, I'm confused. A part of me wants to tell my husband, because this is a man who has done nothing but love me even through our hard times. And here I am, mistakenly did something that I am not very proud about. So I don't know whether to tell him or not, because I don't want to think of what telling him will do to him and ultimately what it will do to our family. So I'm very confused. Asiedua, please. This thing weighs heavily on me. Please help me. What do I do? Because I am scared. I am broken, and I don't know what to do. Please help me.
Okay. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. For now, I would just say wow. Anyway, so I'm going to take the initial thoughts of our guests, and then we go on our social media and see how people reacted after we posted the story on our page. Reverend, let me start with you.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's not new.
Oh, okay.
It's not new. A senior pastor, one pastor was complaining about what he had committed, had sex with somebody, and he told the senior pastor, this is what has happened to us. Whoa.
That's heavy. That's profound.
Yes, that's profound, yes. So this is it. I mean, there's difference between the prophecy and the psychic experience.
Psychic?
Yes, it's not the same.
Okay.
Because you see, when somebody is a prophet, he represents God, he represents the order of God, he respects the office of being a prophet, his character is intact, his relationship with God is intact. You know that his ministry speaks of the fruits of Christ, and his delivery must portray Christ, not self. So he did not communicate Christ to the person.
Yeah.
Meet me in my office, not meet Jesus in his office. The next thing was emotions. Then instead of consoling her with Christ as comfort, he gave the comfort of a kiss. And that kiss led to sex. So it was deliberate.
From his end.
Yes, it was deliberate and intentional. And anyone, when you find yourself in your weaknesses, you are vulnerable. In the woman's vulnerability, she was helpless. And some of these people who have psychic spirit working, you will never be strong in their domain.
Oh.
Yes.
Easily lose God.
You can't. You are in their domain, you are in the environment.
Yeah.
Their environment is not your environment.
Yeah.
What is working? What spirit is working there?
Working there.
So you are just a prey. It's like a spider's web. And you have just fallen into the trap.
Yeah.
He just gets you. And whatever he wants to do, he does with you. So people must be very circumspect about who to talk to and who to always share their problems with.
Yeah.
Not all that glitters is gold. The fact that a person is saying, in the name of Jesus, doesn't mean he belongs to Christ. Because the devil himself mentions Jesus. After all, there's a national prayer who is called Jesus. So there are several Jesuses around. So the fact that this is the deception that's working. The fact that the person mentioned in the name of Jesus, people think it's the Jesus Christ of Nazareth. No, maybe it's the Arsenal Jesus or some Jesus. No. You see,
Right.
that is the deception in Christianity. The fact that the person says in the name of Jesus, that doesn't mean it's Jesus Christ of Nazareth. There are several Jesuses. When Jesus was alive, there was another Jesus around. And it was called Bar Jesus. Jesus never. So his father was called Jesus. So which one are you referring to? The one you are referring to is the one you have relationship with. So anybody can take any object and represent it with Jesus. And an effigy and say it's Jesus. And he can use that to manipulate. This is purely manipulation of the spirit. And if you happen to be in such manner, if you are not careful, you are very helpless, you are very vulnerable, you are very weak, and you fall victim.
Oh, my goodness. Dr. Vanessa.
It's hard to come after that because he said it so powerfully.
Yeah.
You know, here is just a clear episode of deception and abuse of power. So someone has gone into a space, vulnerable, expecting support and guidance.
Yes.
And there is someone there that is claiming to be someone. Claiming to be someone of God. And as you have said, Reverend, is that he's moved from this spiritual to clear physical. He's right there in his physical being. He's taking the name and the word of God, but abusing it and then placing it into this area of supposed trust for this woman. And when someone is in certain positions of authority, you walk in with trust. You walk in with expectation and you expect that you are going into a place of safety. And that person there abused that. They did not create a safe space. And in fact, what they did was that recognize and manipulate the expectation of safety and use that to something for their own physical desire. And this abuse of power happens in so many different settings. We know in people's workplaces, we know in people's education, but there is something, I think, purely quite wicked and so manipulative when it's in a place where God's name is used in vain. And I think that what the woman is experiencing with that shame and fear of what to do and where to go is completely understandable because she's been violated.
Right.
I know that people will be here saying, she's an adult and, she said quite clearly, didn't she? She didn't stop it.
Yes.
But when you are in places where you are vulnerable and you think that you're in a place of safety and trust, you make decisions based on that. And someone has abused that for you. And the decisions that you make may not always...
So that space, you would say, she felt safe. She felt comfortable.
Exactly.
Within that period.
Exactly.
She felt okay.
Exactly.
Well, it's okay for her to be vulnerable. That's how come whatever was given to her, she responded to it, which is the kiss, and she kissed him back.
Exactly. She said quite clearly, didn't she, that she was listening, first of all. She was, and that is, you're there, you're listening, you're thinking, okay, he's talking to me. God is talking through this vessel to me, and you're thinking, okay, this is someone that I want to get to know. That she's moved from listening to going into his physical presence in a service, and then he has said, I'm going to take you into a different space to offer you guidance and support. So already you've moved and you're thinking, okay, I'm so happy. I found someone that will understand me. And then he moves it from understanding to physical intimacy. Completely wrong. Completely wrong.
Totally and completely wrong. Get ready to join us on our social media platforms. But I did say earlier that we shared the story on our Facebook page. We got a number of reactions. Ooh. So let's start reading the reactions. Got some Ghanaians. Okay. So Bismarck says, my prophet, my papa, daddy, man of God, but call their husbands by their name. Fear them. Oh, Bismarck, relax. Ishmael Marvin says, that is the reason why I always say that, but papa be a new ho. People don't understand. There are some standard and money. When a man makes, the construction, I'm not getting it. Trust me, women are as easy to eat as Agbetofe. Hey!
Oh.
No, super. Ishmael, this is too harsh. Let's move on. This is too harsh. Let's move on to... That was way, way too harsh. Not good at all. Nia Boy says, you see, these are some of the reasons why some husbands are too hard on their wives when it comes to some religious gatherings. For all you know, some husbands may have seen that coming, but whenever such stories are shared online, we begin to judge the actions from the husbands and end up calling them names. Ekene Ene says, I have no problem turning to the church for spiritual guidance, but I ask, when they ask to see you privately, what exactly do you expect from that meeting? I thought God is everywhere, so why meeting someone privately for something you could have asked God yourself? It has happened. Sadly, you have to tell your husband. Makubate says, soft women and their wahala. This is why most of these people preach that women should be humble, submissive, and obedient so they can be taken advantage of them. And then Bodia Patrick reacted and says, you now see, I will also start preaching. Hey, Asampani. Okay. Vanessa, hey, you have a heavy surname. Yeah, she said, boy. Prince Jackson says, ladies with prophets. I know they like them one stuff. Asamo. Lilia says you are, okay, so that was covered. Emotional leads to sex. People of late cannot control themselves at all. Ishmael White says, oh. And then next one, this citizen Baba says, I comment my reserve. Hey, I reserve my comments and we're done enough. Anyway, so yeah, there are so many more. There are so many more reactions from our social media platforms, but these are a few that we picked up in relation to that. And then, so let's get right into trying to see how best that we can help our little sister or older sister. We didn't even ask how old she is, but then anyways, this is what she's going through, and then we want you to be a part of the conversation. Now, okay, so the next question that I will ask you, now this is pretty interesting because Reverend did mention something that it's not new. We hear them quite often. We see them quite often. And then the question that we ask, why should it? Why should it be so? Why should it be happening too often? Now it's becoming like you can't even say you're going to totally and completely trust some men of God now. Meanwhile, it should be easy for you to go to somebody like Reverend. It's very easy for me to go to Reverend and speak with Reverend. But because of issues like this, it's beginning to taint the images of men of God. And it's pretty sad that, we have to go through this. So let's talk about guilt. Okay, in the first place. Now she's feeling guilty. And she's hoping that she can speak to her husband. But at the same time, she's scared that if she opens up, she's losing her marriage. Now the guilt that she's feeling is been 3 months already. First of all, the aftermath of a situation like that, Dr. Vanessa, I want us to get into after that has happened, because, she didn't know what happened. She just fell for it and, it's already done. Now you are back to reality, facing your reality I want your reaction on that bit.
I think that anytime we do something that regret, because guilt is related to regret. And in this scenario, it's very clear that she's in a situation that she thinks, my goodness, how did this even happen?
Yes.
But then she has to step away. So she physically has to leave the building and leave the situation. So you can imagine there's many layers of thoughts that would have happened since then. First of all, realizing what you've done, what she's done, and recognizing the impact of that. And that will take time. You know, when we act and there are things that we're not proud of how we act, we don't often realize the true impact until we step back and think about it and think about, gosh, what is the impact on me? What is the impact on my husband? What is the impact on my extended network, et cetera, et cetera? Yeah. So already there's a lot to unpack for her in terms of understanding the impact. And then when you recognize the impact, then that's when our emotions, and we're human beings, we are full of hormones. There are natural reactions to things that happen in our lives. So right there and then, that feeling of nervousness, anxiety, fear, those are all natural physical reactions to this heightened state of recognizing that there's significant impact on your life. And the thing about guilt is that guilt is not a single emotion, and guilt doesn't just happen at once. Guilt evolves and it takes on very different forms. So you can feel so distraught with guilt, paralyzed with guilt that you can't do anything. You can have guilt that is just constantly on your mind. So you are functioning, but it's right there in the back of your mind, and it affects your day-to-day living and activities. There's guilt that you sometimes see human beings and they feel guilty inside, but you look at them and they look almost shameless. Like they act like nothing has affected them at all. But guilt is eating them up inside. So guilt is a natural emotion. Guilt manifests in different ways in different people. And one would never say is better than the other. We are all different in how we respond. But the key thing is, what do we do with that guilt? Because whether you exhibit it and everyone knows you feel guilty, or whether it's inside you and no one can recognize it, you yourself feel it. And there is that term, you know, guilt eats you up.
Yes.
It's true. Guilt does eat you up. And so there is this journey that she will need to go through to think about, what do I do with that guilt? And how do I respond to that guilt? And for this lady, what also pains me is that this guilt is also aligned with a new loneliness, because she felt that she had found a place that she could trust and talk about her concerns and vulnerabilities. But right now, she feels guilty, but also she's lost trust in a person. But sadly, and I'm sure Reverend will talk about this, the impact of losing faith in the wider church as well. Because this person has said that he represents God and he represents the church. He has failed you. So it's a natural response to say, who can I trust?
Right.
So I think that there's a lot of support that we need to talk about in terms of supporting that guilt, but also supporting that vulnerability and added loneliness that she may be feeling because of the loss that she's experiencing.
It's very interesting with all that you said. And then the thought that comes in is she's married. Her husband is supposed to be that partner, that go-to person, you know, that person that you should trust and all that. But women will always be women, especially when it comes to our faith. Reverend, with the same question that I asked Doc, I want you to talk.
I would, when somebody goes through such situation, it comes under 5 umbrellas. First, you see, the guilt that she is feeling makes her feel that, I've done that which, though I think I shouldn't have done that. So she finds herself in the space that she's finding it difficult to forgive herself. So that self, what have I done? What should I do that? Well, I mean, I have everything. Why didn't I run? Why didn't I scream and those things? So she's not able to forgive herself.
Yeah.
And she's a person of faith. That's why she went to the man of God. So she's also thinking that, this that I've done, God will not forgive me too. And third one, he thinks that my husband may not even forgive me, so that can lead to the breakup of my marriage.
Yes.
And the fourth one, what will be the stigma of the society? What's the society going to say about me? What's the predicament? My parents, what are they going to say? I brought shame upon them.
Yeah.
So he's harnessing all these things together. Now, when it comes to such situation and the person is going through that, first of all, we must understand that faith is still the key, which all the other things, whether psychological, whether practical, whether personal, whether social, whatever, they all come under a bigger umbrella that we need God's intervention to come in. First, this is how I approach it. First, seek God. Pray to God that God should forgive you. That's the first thing. I've dealt with people whose own is even worse than this. And you seek God's help for forgiveness because He's the supreme being. If God forgives you, all the laterals will be able to respond appropriately. Second thing, you see, she's very sincere. I like her sincerity because this thing that happens, most of the people hide it.
Exactly.
And they keep. Some even get pregnant, they give birth and they keep. So it's only the mother that knows the father of the child. So it's there. There are a lot of people who go to, she's very sincere. And her sincerity is helping her. But her sincerity should not let her live in that space that I'm miserable. Move from that state. Just move a step. First, God forgive you. Secondly, forgive yourself. You have been a victim of circumstance. I've said it's under manipulation, it's under deception, it's under spiritual environment that she doesn't know about. Such situations, you are not strong.
Okay.
Most people are not strong because you see, when you come under that umbrella, it is that spirit that is controlling the place. You might have even realized a certain particular smell there.
It's good you are even talking about this because I just got a message where somebody is asking what makes women mostly vulnerable in the presence of men of God. It doesn't happen to the opposite sex. Men, I mean, you're going to see a pastor. You can have a very cordial, very cool relationship with your pastor and all of that. But then with women, a lot of these issues is the women that it happens to them. So the person was asking, how come women are always falling prey to men of God?
So when women fall prey to it, because quite often some men introduce to them fear. So if I want you to be a prey, it's like a lion. He always roar and paralyze all the animals.
Yeah.
You know the roaring, the voice of roaring of a lion paralyzed, and that's what it does.
Yeah.
So when he roars, he paralyzes everyone. So first of all, the person who is not of God will create an environment of fear. That's why it's psychic people always tell, this is going to happen to you, that's going to happen to you. I mean, they are communicating something that will put fear in you because everybody is responding to her security first.
Yeah.
So once you say, because of this thing is going to happen, you're going to have an accident, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, then...
So even in that, it could be true. Those could be true, and it will still generate fear.
You see, there are two things. When you are talking about genuine men and women of God, you see, when even he's saying that which God has revealed to him, he communicates love and he communicates Christ.
Yes.
So you see, the solution comes with it.
Right.
But when it's psychic, it doesn't draw you to Christ, it draws you to himself.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Because when it's psychic, into ordinary fans.
Yeah.
And he draws to him.
Yeah.
But if it's God, if it's the person is of God, he will pray with you and ask you to maybe go and pray or do this. Refer you to a certain scripture that, please, find time and pray and ask God to do this for you. But if it's psychic, everybody who goes around anybody who is psychic person, he will never attest to Christ. He will draw you to himself in the name of come and do this. come and do that, come and do this. Not Jesus will do this, not Jesus will do that. And unfortunately, people have references from the scriptures, quite often from the Old Testament, to buttress what they are saying. But Christ in us, the hope of glory. Christ made everything complete. Christ is never less in anything. So when there's a situation, the person should not communicate to you and tell you, I'm communicating Christ, but there's something else I have to do. It's not true. And it cannot be founded anywhere. Christ is never less. He's complete. So when you introduce Christ to the person must find the completeness in Christ, not to you.
Not you.
Not to you. Yeah. So the moment you see that people are drawing people to themselves, be very careful. That's what John the Baptist said. He said, he's greater than me. I'm not even worthy to unleash his sandals. He must be exalted. I must decrease. So that should be it. So when you find the person in that space, fear is the first thing. Second, when a woman is lonely. In your lonely moments, you are always vulnerable. Any environment that is created, that creates lonely, when even the husband is absent. When you have an absentee husband, the woman is only lonely. If you are not careful, the watchman will take care of your wife. No, it's true. Or the driver. Because that vulnerability creates... That vulnerability, it creates vulnerability for the person. Because women are created for companionship. Suitable helpmeet. So once a woman finds her space in loneliness, vulnerable. Third, when a woman is having financial difficulties, this is what she responded to. Yeah, so these are the weak things. Yeah. So once you are having that weak things, means your defense system is low. You are not strong in your vulnerability. You are not strong in your weakness. So every one of us, we all have our weaknesses. You are not strong there. So anytime your weaknesses are showing up, remember, you'll be a prey to that person. So anytime you see that the woman is lonely, anytime there's financial predicament, anytime fear is communicated to the person, anytime the person is drawn to an affection that is not genuine. You see, there are some people, they are fond of men of God. Not necessarily being a partner, but they are fond of them. And they find themselves always around. I mean, let's be papa, mama, papa, then papa. If you are not careful, the papa and the papa will eat into another papa. And then you'll be funny you. No, it's true. It happens. So instead of papa, then you'll be papa. It'll be funny you. And
you'll be funny.
Yes. And by the time you are aware, remember, issues of sex, we don't pray. Nobody has prayed and succeeded. Nobody. You can't pray if you pray. Even the more you pray, the more it gets worse. Yes, because that's the one the Bible says, flee. So the Bible says flee and say you are praying. By the time you finish the last tongues, you are in it.
Right.
So don't pray about it. Yeah. What do you have to do? When you see that such situations are happening, just start moving.
Yeah.
Just start moving.
Yes.
Irrespective of the situation, just start moving. And you see, I have built a mechanism that helped me. Because if you're a pastor, sometimes there are some women in the church, they just love you. And some of them, they will communicate to your wife that,
what?
Oh, I've been a pastor not for long, so I know this. There are some people, they will even my wife is standing behind me, then you stand in my front. You want to fumble me in the presence of my wife.
Wow.
And somebody, yes, so, I mean, you see, so what do you have to do? Build a defense mechanism. If you're a pastor, if you don't build a defense mechanism, what should I say?
Dr. Vanessa, I want you to get ready to, help us understand, women, the minds of women most especially. So we'll come to you on that.
So it goes on. There are some people, married people, they don't care. They are fond of you. They are just fond of you. So they just want to be around. And you look at the behaviors when you go to church, and those who are fond of the pastor, look at what they do. They will even remove their clothes. Pastor, they will even want to lie down.
Lie down, yeah.
So one thing leads to another. Let there be barriers. What I do myself, I build defense mechanisms around myself. So the moment you see that you are holding, don't touch. If you see, don't look. If you are walking through, don't stay there. Move. Perhaps you are praying for the person and your hand touches somewhere. It does start. Don't hold. If you are just looking at the person, she was looking beautiful. You just look. You just
and then look away.
Don't look. You saw, but you do not look.
Okay.
You are walking through it. You saw something. Don't stay. Move. They build a defense mechanism around you because there are several vulnerabilities around pastors too. If you're a pastor, number one, a day you have an encounter, serious encounter with God, that is a serious program, you are vulnerable. Every pastor will tell you. After the program, if you are not careful, obey your body serious. We call it, yes.
After you have
that the encounter. So if it's genuine, you see, just after the encounter, the prophecy,
right.
Yes. When did the devil tempt Jesus? So you must understand, we call it mountaintop experience. So you must understand these things. So if you're a pastor, if you're a genuine man of God, that's why most men of God, after a serious program, they just go into hiding. God, you are very vulnerable that time. So every encounter, after just an encounter, you are vulnerable as a pastor. Number two, if you are lonely, loneliness, a pastor is lonely. David, when everybody was going to battle and he was alone, he started looking and he started seeing and he went on to look. By the time he was aware, he also, David, so I did my coach and say, it was in the blood. It was in the fact that the grandfather Abraham. And Abraham passed it to Isaac, and Isaac to Jacob. It was in their blood. So when he saw and they told him, it's somebody's wife, he said, so what? Once it's in my blood, I have to fulfill the desire. Then you fulfill the desire. So you must understand that first, you are vulnerable when there's an encounter. Two, when you are lonely. Three, you know your weaknesses. Every pastor knows his weaknesses. So please, don't play God.
Don't play God. Dr. Vanessa, from the perspective of not the perspective, but the aspect of the woman. Reverend has mentioned a lot. He has said a lot. And most especially the parts where, for some weird reason, we are so drawn to, a lot of women are drawn to men of God. And sometimes we wonder, and I know the men would wonder sometimes that what goes on in the minds of women. Look at some of the comments. Papa, my daddy, and all of that. They will revere the man of God more than even their own husbands.
I think here is really about aspiring about power and confidence and the allure of someone in that power. So, we talk about...
So we are drawn to, as women, we are drawn to power.
We're drawn to power. We're drawn to confidence. It is. And that's exactly it. Power comes with influence. And influence can give you that security that you may have always have wanted. If you look at and we step out of faith and we look at other professions, let's say, policemen, firemen, when you watch films and you see that there are certain women that as soon as they see the uniform, they run to it.
That's true.
People, many women love men in the army, and it's about what does the uniform represent? The uniform represents structure, focus, confidence, dedication. There's lots of things that outer garment represents. And then you assume that the person in those garments also has a personality to match that. And so that allure is very, very powerful. And so when you think about that, and again, when as human beings, men and women, but we're focusing on women, is that when we think about sexual intercourse and intimacy, for many women, it's not just, I see someone, I want to do it. There's a journey towards enjoying your sexual experiences. And a lot of that it starts from the mind. So it starts from, when I talk to couples, when I do sexual wellness, I say to the men, call your wife during the day and say to her, I love you. I appreciate you. What you did for me this morning, I noticed it. Already, that's getting the woman's mind ready that, I'm feeling secure. This person loves me. They like me. They appreciate me. And then you go on to when you see each other, that intimacy of just stroking or touching or kissing. But even it's the small things that can make a huge difference. And then you're moving forward. This can be in 10 minutes, okay? This doesn't have to be a whole day.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that there's a journey from mind to physical to saying that I'm going to relax to then be in a place where I'm going to have enjoyable intercourse with my partner, okay? And recognizing that journey and that experience is something that when someone is with someone in power and of influence, often you've jumped there because you've jumped from needing that intimacy because you trust that person implicitly. You're with a man of faith and you're saying, actually, I don't need all of that because I'm looking at you. There's an allure of trust, of faith. I feel safe here. And then that mindset loosens the body and says, okay, I can be open. I can be more open. But what Reverend is saying is that it's the responsibility of the pastor when you feel open to put those boundaries in and to recognize that we're all human beings. So that vulnerability and that attraction could confuse you and think that the dynamic that we have is a physical dynamic, and a true man of God is, no, this is a spiritual thing. This is me, that I am representing God here. So it's not about me.
So as women, there is absolutely nothing we can do about situations like this personally, be it psychological, the setup, be it, in that also how we're thinking, what we're looking out for when we find ourselves in such situations and all that. But then before you answer that, I want to read this very interesting message. This one says, hi, this issue, it happened to me before. He asked me to leave my guy. Later on, we ended up dating. He ended up moving in with me into my room. I got pregnant a year later. There, I knew the number of us in the church sisters he's sleeping with. What? He insisted I abort the baby. The tears, the emotional bad treatment, etc. I later on had a miscarriage. I moved on after that. Wow.
I want to address what you just said because you were saying that, there's nothing that we can do. And that isn't right as well, because there is something that we also need to reflect about, is that we are a controller of our emotions and our response. We can understand, and in this situation where there's confusion, there's mixed emotions, and we can understand the journey to that outcome. But also, we also have to recognize that there are elements in our life that we can control. And in the same way that we are asking, and we are saying that reverends and pastors also have to have those boundaries, us as women, when we go into certain places, there are boundaries that we need to recognize. And also recognize that not all men, whether of physical or spiritual, have good intent. Not all women have good intent as well. And not all men have good intent. So part of us, as we're having these conversations, is to recognize that we have power. So we're not there saying that we haven't got power, we're just there, we're falling back and he kisses me and I do whatever. No, we're having these conversations to recognize you have power. You have power to say no. You have power to walk away. And you also have to trust yourself that if you're in a situation, this does not feel right. I do not want this. Am I being coerced? Ask those questions. You step out of those situations. I'm not saying that every situation is easy to walk out of.
True.
I think it's really important that we recognize the power that we have as individuals and don't say that we can assume these things happen. There are decisions that we make as well.
Okay, all right. So we are still here. This is still Let's Talk, and we are trying to help our sister out who has broken a marital vow, and she's asking the question of whether she should open up to her husband and be truthful about what she engaged herself in with a man of God, or she should keep it to herself. And we're going to get into answering that bit, most especially the steps that can be taken if she has to resort. I believe that she just has to tell him. I don't know. I feel like she has to tell him. So if our counselors, if Reverend Daniel Annan and Dr. Vanessa Apea agree that she should open up to her husband, what would be the step that she has to go through to properly convey that message or speak with her husband? But let me read this message. Presenter, please, you made Reverend digress. He was talking about the woman confessing to God, forgiving herself. What next? Does she confess to her husband? Thanks. Yes. Okay, Reverend Emeka Okori, Lome, Togo. Thank you so much for watching us. Okay, let me read another one. Hello, beautiful Isiedua. Good evening to you and your panel. I would be anonymous because of what I want to say. We should be very careful in our moments of loneliness. I've been there. I felt this loneliness that got me into the arms of a married man. The vibe was great. He made me laugh so much, and I did what I have vowed never to do in my 30 years on earth. I have always hated young girls dating married men, and I vowed never to get involved in such. I remember how such men made advances at me when I had nothing, and during the days of my national service, but I stood firm and never even took 10 pesos from any of them. To cut my story short, I dated this guy, married, whom I met because another married friend of his was chasing me. Hey. We became friends, and along the line, the spark grew out of hand. Sincerely, I wanted to end the relationship because I couldn't bear the guilt. I couldn't pray because of guilt. But unfortunately, before I could tell him I don't want to continue with the relationship, I realized I was pregnant. I've had the child now, and now anytime it gets tough, the guilt sets in. Oh, I can't say it all here. I just want to tell my fellow women to be very careful in our times of loneliness and vulnerability. Thank you. Ooh. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. All right, so next one. Good evening, Isiedua, Rev and Doc. I acknowledge her strength and honesty. I believe she's a good Christian and woman because her conscience is alive. I think she should just pray for forgiveness, forgive herself, and be strong-hearted. She's just a victim. It didn't happen intentionally, and God knows and sees her heart. But I also recommend she gets good books. She get good books to read to gain emotional stability and maturity. She should also apply wisdom in her decision to tell her husband, weigh her chances of being forgiven or getting divorced, and the consequences on the family, her children mostly, especially, suffering the impact of separation. My opinion is she shouldn't tell the husband, but focus on forgiving herself and loving the man and being a good wife. With time, she will be fine. God will take away the burden and she won't even feel it anymore. Some things are better left in the hideout. Wisdom is a principal thing. Thank you, Etonam. Okay. Very interesting. Let's take another one. Good evening. You all look good. Thank you very much. This woman went in with good intentions. Unfortunately, the pastor took advantage of her. But let me ask, did the pastor force her to take off her clothes? I think that's what you're trying to say. If no, then it's not a mistake because she accepted it when it came impromptu. You can never force a woman to have sex if she is not ready to do that. I'm a man and I know what I'm talking about. By the way, she should tell her husband about it so she can be herself. Abu from Techiman. Okay, thank you very much. Keep on sending in your messages. We'll be reading them in the course of the show. This is Let's Talk, and we're doing our very best to help our dear sister out of this particular matter. But I need to remind you that Let's Talk is proudly sponsored by Ike City Hotel. Ike City Hotel is located in Tema Community 25. I call it home away from home. So if you live in Tema and its environs, or you live in Accra, whichever part of Ghana you live, and you need a hideout, is a perfect destination for you for a weekend getaway, a week getaway, for you to, just relax yourself, have fun at the same time. They've got very beautiful facilities that you can enjoy. There's a sky bar, there's a sky swimming pool. There's a swimming pool on the ground floor as well. There's a beauty salon. There's a beauty spa. There's a gym. The restaurants also, they serve very delicious local and continental dishes. So yeah, you're sorted totally and completely. It's a whole full package at Ike City Hotel, located in Tema Community 25, behind the MF's estate. Now, I need to remind you that Valentine is coming. I know, Valentine's is in February and we are getting ready to have a wonderful time with you, our lovely viewers. And so we want you to get ready, get your monies ready, okay? Yeah, you have to do something nice for your spouse, for your partners this Valentine's Day. So I think that the amount that you should get ready with is 2,000 Ghana cedis, I believe. Yes, 2,000 Ghana cedis. Just start putting monies down that you want to spend quality time with your loved one, with your partner, with your wife or husband on this Valentine's Day. So we'll be bringing you more details about the package that we have for you, but it's going to be amazing. And you get to sit down also. I'm already talking about it. Can you imagine? You get to sit down with our counselor. So yeah, all of them will be present and for you to have a one-on-one conversation with them. You get to ask all the questions that you know, have been boggling your mind, all the questions relating to marriage, whatever relationship that you are in. And for the singles, last week when I spoke about it, the singles were sending me messages. Singles, please, you are welcome, okay? Just come there. Like I said last week, for all you know, you could meet your life partner there. Yeah, so it's going to be very exciting. More details are going to come your way right here on Let's Talk. And it's going to be at iCity Hotel, by the way. Yes, so it's going to be at iCity Hotel. You're going to have a wonderful, wonderful time with our counselors over there. And we would love to have you there, Doc. Yes, so we'd love to have Dr. Vanessa Apea there as well. Any medical problems that you want to ask, Dr. Vanessa will answer it all for you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, get your monies ready on the 14th of February. Well, we have to go on a very, very quick break, don't we? Yes, so that when we come back, we get to open the phone lines for you to call into the show and share your thoughts with us in relation to this matter. But my guests are still here, so they will continue sharing their opinions and see how best they can be of help to our dear lady. We'll be right back. This is still Let's Talk with me, Esiedua Akomia. Dr. Vanessa Apea and Reverend Daniel Annan are still here. We are about to open the phone lines for you to call into the show and ask your questions. If you have an experience you would love to share, yeah, you're welcome to do so. You can call into the show. But before that, let's try to get solution to this problem. Reverend Daniel.
So when people go through such issues, I call it the reconstructive life. Mm-hmm. I mean, we must be able to move from the guilt to reconstruction. That's why I was talking about first, she forgiving herself, and two, first, God forgiving her, because that will give her the strength and the confidence that she'll be able to forgive herself.
Yeah.
The third aspect is the husband. But the husband, quite often we have to be very circumspect as to the timing, because you have to work on it very well.
The timing.
The timing.
Okay.
The timing. You just don't jump into that. I've sinned, no, it doesn't work like that.
Oh.
The timing. So quite often, if you see that your strength to do it and the wisdom to guide you to go about it is not enough, seek a counselor. Find a counselor, a proper counselor you know you can talk to, then the person will help you out. So after you have prayed upon the person, God will also convict that person's heart to accept you back. Because other than that, in our part of the world, we are so judgmental. In our part of the world, is the woman who always sin, but not the man.
Yeah. Yeah, so the men are never at fault.
Yes, the men are never at fault. When a man commits an adultery, it's a mistake.
Yes.
And when a woman commits an adultery,
it's a taboo.
It's a taboo.
Yeah.
One is classified as mistake, and the other is classified as taboo. So you have to be very careful in the way you handle it. Either you seek help, that a genuine person who will be of help guide you through. Pray through you before that appropriate time that you come. I've talked to someone, I've done such situations before, and it worked because we did not go straight. Quite often, you see, even the language and the process that you have to go through in communicating to the person becomes a challenge. The guy says, sometimes you are saying the truth, but as a result of doing that, it will collapse the nation. So what do you do? So that's where the circumspect have to come in, the wisdom have to come in. And The next thing is that after you have conversed with the person, don't expect a drama.
Reverend, I want you to hold that thought. You continue that bit for me. We have our first caller. Hello. Good evening, Francis. Oh, he's kind of... Okay. So, please, when you call into the show, take your time, hold on a bit, and then I'll come to you so that you can share your thoughts with us. But Francis, I want you to call back into the show, okay?
So don't expect the person to respond like, oh, I've let it go.
Yeah.
Let the person have his own time.
Okay.
Let the person have his moment of processing whatever is going on. Let the person have his time of processing. Let him behave.
That period is so uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable, but it's quite, it's like the time that you are moving from a lover to a butterfly. You see, it's a process, that crystallized process. It's so difficult, but let the man have his way.
Okay.
Give him that space and room. Let him process. He'll be judgmental, he'll be angry, and those things. Understand. Don't jump into his moment and say that, after all, you have done this. When you did it, I forgave you. Don't do that. No, because you are not scoring points. No. Let him have his moment of process and be in that sober reflection and have that acceptance that whatever it is, God still loves you as you are. You are not a mistake. You are not a mistaken. You are not a mistake. But rather, it's a problem that has happened. We are in the process. So once you are going through, with time, when time elapses, he will come to that understanding. The danger in this is when you do not process and converse it to him, but he rather goes and hear it. That becomes disastrous because we don't know the motive of that man of God. And who was there when you entered? And which people are watching? You see a story somebody said. He said, when the man of God got him, we have men with God, we have man of God, and we have man in God. So we have different kinds. So there are some people. So that's what it is. You see that lady who said, yes, she got pregnant, and she realized that she was not the only one.
Yes.
So the others always do know that, oh, this one. Yes. So when they saw you entering, they know the possibility. So if you are not careful and you process and you don't converse it at the right time, somebody might jump and go and tell your husband, do you know that this your wife, this man that he has been visiting, that man, I don't trust him because he has been doing A, B, C, D to the woman. And by the time you are aware, he has gotten to know before you tell him. When it comes to that point, it becomes difficult for the man to forgive. So the process of reconciliation is first asking God to forgive you. You also forgive yourself. Third, spending time to pray, seeking help, allowing somebody to help you, guide you through to communicate to the man. And after that, don't carry the guilt.
All right, so let's move to our next caller. Good evening, Mariam.
Good evening.
How are you?
Well.
Yes, please. We are very well. How about you?
I'm also fine, by God's grace.
Nice. What do you want to share with us?
I just wanted to say something more about what Reverend was saying.
Please.
You know, in this part of our world, it's mostly women who are mostly targeted. Women are. But sometimes, see, what was that? The woman.
Mariam, please hold on there. Please move a bit for me. The line was breaking.
And I was just saying that in this part of our world, it seems that women are motivated. If a woman commits
adultery,
And so I was just saying that in this part of our world, women are being targeted. And if a woman commits a sin or a mistake, or if a woman has a problem, people always tend to say that it's the woman who did this, who did that. But if it was the husband, she would have easily forgiven him. I just wanted to say that it was a mistake. The woman didn't necessarily mean to hurt his husband, or it has happened. And forgiveness is in the heart. God knows best. So I don't think it's necessary for the woman to tell her husband. They have people have even gone to trade. You have it maybe in the background. The husband might be doing worse than that, and it's not so it should just be a fair trust. She go on her knees, pray to God, ask for forgiveness, just to have move on. Yeah, be in the sober reflection. That's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mariam, for calling into the show. That was a very interesting point over there. You can also call into the show and share your thoughts, your opinions, or suggestions, any questions that you have in relation to this topic. Dr. Vanessa, how can she, and even the husband, even after this news is broken to him, how can they be helped, most especially psychologically?
Just before that, I want to acknowledge the response that was just given, because I think it's important, because I'm sure people listening, it's going to be divided as to what as to what she should do. And we need to acknowledge that, because it is a very, very difficult scenario that we're talking about. And there's so many layers. When you're bringing the deception that we're talking about, the manipulation, etc., there's so many things that influenced that behavior. And so I can understand people are feeling for the woman, feeling for what she's going through, and also concerned about what will be the impact on the husband as well. But as Reverend is saying as well, that this guilt can overwhelm you. And so it is about forgiving yourself, and then time to think about how to do it if you're going to tell him, but also the time to allow him to process it as well is crucial. And so when we talk about moving past it, I want to come back to time, because...
Dr. Vanessa, please hold that. Let me take our next caller. Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm doing good, and you?
We're doing very well. What's your name?
My name is Kojo, calling from Kumasi.
Okay, hi Kojo. Talk to us.
In brief, what I want to say is for a married woman to cheat with a prophet or a dad ever, normally it goes with an intention. It goes with an intention. Because the most dangerous a woman, a married woman doing a marriage cheat. Her regret, no problem. But for me, my answer, women of they like to pamper their daddy, prophet, whatever. too much of the day.
Right.
They like. So for me, the test that occurred, or the cheat that occurred, the lady knew the consequences of all this thing.
Okay. Oh, Kojo. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Dr. Vanessa.
We respect the perspective, interesting perspective.
Like you mentioned, people are, different views are going to come up. So very interesting.
No, definitely, exactly. But I think, regardless of where we've gotten to, we're talking about moving forward. And again, just emphasizing about time. And the reason I say that is because there will be time where for herself, psychologically, she has to accept what has happened and accept what she's done and her part in it, and also accept the impact of what she's done.
Okay.
Whether she tells her partner or her husband or not, she also has to go through that journey of accepting the consequences. Now, if she does tell her husband, I think that time and detailed, supportive conversations are really important. Space for him to absorb what's happening. Monitoring her reactions to his reactions. So whenever we're told anything as human beings, we do not always respond in the best way that we can.
Yeah.
You tell someone that you have a condition. Yeah. You tell someone that you've broken something. You tell someone that you've lied or cheated on them.
Yeah.
Very rarely will a person respond with, "I'm so glad you told me, I understand." Very rarely. And if that's happened, that is beautiful. But actually what tends to happen is that the most
Even with that, if that should happen, if I were to be in the woman's shoes, then I open up to my husband and tell him that, and he gives me that response,
you wouldn't even
I would suspect him.
Exactly.
I was suspecting that, then it means you're also doing something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so we need to allow the responses to evolve, and we need to give space for that. But I think in many of these situations that psychologically it's difficult for you to just manage it by yourself.
Okay.
And as Reverend said, it is about finding a confidant, a counselor that you can speak to discuss this. And it's you as an individual, and also maybe him as an individual, and you as a couple as well.
Okay, all right.
Really
Let me take this next caller. Good evening, Romeo. Okay, I heard that Romeo has cut the call. Please call back. Okay, please call back and let's talk.
Yeah. So it is about talking as a couple. And sometimes it's not enough for you two to just be having those conversations. You will go back and forth trying to unpick and understand each other's emotions. It is important to have a third person there. I also want to be really honest, because I've had couples that have come in, and when there have been issues with men of God, they then don't trust other men of God.
Yeah.
And then they don't trust other people within the faith as well. So it's also about really supporting people to find other people as well that they can talk to.
Okay.
And yeah.
We'll come back. We'll let you continue in a bit. Hello, Emmanuel. Good evening.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to say the lady knew passion. Because these days, the ladies pamper their passion. They see the man saying God, papa. That respect they give to their passion. They don't give that to their husband. So she knows what she's done. It's not mistake.
Okay.
That's what I have to say.
Okay. All right, Emmanuel. Thank you.
You're welcome, Maddie.
Interesting.
But what's interesting about that, and what's interesting about the talking and moving past, is that a couple needs to understand why did this happen? Where did this start from? You know, so the woman needs to be honest as well, and to say, how was she feeling? You know, what was going through her mind? She mentioned about the financial difficulties.
Yeah.
What happened with those financial difficulties? How did they arise? We don't know the wider circumstances of that.
Yeah.
We need to understand where they were in their relationship at that point.
Yeah.
These things don't happen in isolation. So when they are moving forward, it's important to have honest conversations about how they got to that point.
Okay.
And also where they see themselves after. It may be that it's point blank, you know, I cannot forgive. I don't want this. You know, he may respond like that. And she needs to understand that that's his emotion at that point. Also, he may say that we're moving on with our relationship and he has certain boundaries that he wants to put in place for the future of that relationship.
Okay.
And the same for her as well. So it is reconstructing, redefining what your relationship will be in the future after something like this.
Okay, all right. Let me take this call. Good evening, Harry.
Good evening.
Yeah, I hope you're good.
I'm good. And yourself?
You're doing very well. Talk to us.
Yes. I think this is a very delicate issue. I can't advise the lady what I think she let the women sometimes are over by reference, prophet, and past, and ladies.
Henry, please move a bit, okay? The line is breaking. You're basically saying that women reverence men of God so much. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
They should see them as humans.
Right. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, we are listening.
It is too much. There should be a limit. They should understand that they are human. They are human. And therefore, they don't have answers to all their problems. And that is where the challenge is coming from.
Okay.
So they should let it that you have a man, and you should wear them as reverend and you should have to be. And the aspect of teaching, telling the husband, most of the cases, the marriage comes out. Men and cheating, women cheating. Men don't forgive just like that. So she should prepare that after she confesses, she is ready. The marriage will collapse. and she would regain her, she would regain her, the girl. It is a 50-50 matter. So she should really have the conviction before approaching the husband. But for me, 80% the marriage may collapse. And she request for whatever happens after she tells the husband. That's a little like that.
When a man finds out that he's been cheated on, what goes on with him?
He goes through there are so many questions. Am I not good enough? What prompted it? Why? The whys will be many in a man's. You see, men always want to behave like kings. The national anthem for every man is what? No problem.
Yeah.
So men put themselves in the position that we are able to do everything.
Okay.
So when that deficiency comes in, or there's something to show that his recognition, his pride, his position, who he is, has a challenge, we find it difficult to accept. That's why he's saying most men will not be able to accept that person back. But this is the issue. Forgiveness is a gift.
We have our next caller. Hi, good evening. Calling from Qatar. Hello?
Hello, I'm with you.
Okay. All right, kindly talk to us.
Can I contribute?
Sorry?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, can I come in?
Please do.
Thank you. This issue of the prophet, I am looking at it as a work of intelligent psychopath.
Oh.
Because you can clearly see the trend, the ladies issue follow from online to the first and then to the private.
Yeah.
The prophet was tracking her reactions to whatever he brings on earth and go up to the time. And when she said, at the office, he was saying something and then she broke down.
Yes. In tears.
It became so fun. They had gotten to the last place to be able to say.
Okay.
I mean, so she is vulnerable, as Reverend was saying. At that environment, he is the master of that environment. They get your in and become powerful. But then, that's what most of our intelligent psychopath pastors are doing to us.
So the prophet is an intelligent psychopath. Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Reverend.
So when these things happen, we must understand certain things. I was talking about the gift of forgiveness. You see, we expect that God should forgive us, is that not it? The man expected God to forgive him. Should it be his sister, who expects that her husband should forgive? So this is it. The best gift that he can give to the woman is to forgive. Even if the relationship will not continue, he should be prepared to forgive and let go. So that even if it doesn't continue, he will not bang the door. But he will leave an open door for them to be friends. There are some people, they are not able to handle it. Seeing that somebody has had sex with you and myself also sleeping with you, he will not disgrace you. He will gently close the door, not bang it. However, please, everybody should watch Let's Talk. Why? On this platform, we are trying to teach the personal power of every woman.
Yeah.
Because it was a vulnerability that showed up.
Yeah.
And then she became a victim.
Yeah.
So, we have been talking about the personal power of a woman, you knowing yourself, financially sound, your character sound, your faith sound, your family setup sound. I mean, those things, we must understand that if you don't, nobody should ever think that a woman is second class. A woman is complete in herself. In our part of the world, we think that we are not weak in terms of thinking. We are not weak in terms of any other thing. Weaker vessels is not referring to thinking.
Yeah.
Women are wise. So what I want to say is that build your personal power of a woman, as a woman, so that you don't become a victim in somebody's hands because of financial predicament, because of her emotional disposition, emotional weakness. When the man of God touched emotions, she responded. That's why the guy was saying intelligent psychopath.
Yeah.
Because you could see a certain strength, a trend.
Yeah, trend.
And it was following.
Yeah.
Once you know you build your capacity and it starts, it gets to a bit of say, wait a minute, I need to back off. So when he called you, that can you meet me in the office? Okay, Pastor, I've heard you. I've conversed with my husband. When I'm coming, I'll come with him. So that together you tell us, and look at the response. And that will change.
And that,
So that's why I said you have to build defense mechanisms around you. I cannot stop you from what you think, but I have control over what I need to think and what I have to do.
Yes.
So we need to build your personal power as a woman, so that you don't allow yourself to be somebody puppet or somebody be a prey in somebody's hands. No. When you are able to do that, you know that even if this situation happened, mistakenly it happened, when I walk out of that marriage, I walk with my confidence intact, and I walk with my life intact, that I can continue from there. But if the man supposedly says that, and you always stand on that, he who has not committed any evil should cast the first stone.
And I know that you seated at home, you're really loving all that is going on here. If you're a married couple, you are a soon-to-be wife, husband, you have to be part of what we have for you on the 14th of February, because it's going to be as beautiful as this. And you get to ask all the questions that you want to ask. Even if you're single, please get ready to join us on the 14th of February at Ike City Hotel in Tama Community 25 behind the MF's estate. All right, so let's go on social media. Let's read some comments. Golden Lady, you look beautiful. Thank you very much. Please say hi to Pastor and Doctor. I enjoy your program every week and I never want to miss it. I agree with Etonam. It will remain a scar on her the rest of her life if her spouse knows. As to whether he will forgive her, you can't tell. He may put her under perpetual bondage the rest of her life. She should go to God in prayer and avoid such pastors. And this is from Margaret. Margaret, thank you so much for your message. Okay, let's take some more. Good evening, miss. When it comes to cheating, it's something I think we have limited it to just having sex with someone. I met a lady on Facebook, became friends, we started talking. So I knew she was married, but she loved the conversation, not knowing she was having issues with her husband. Before I realized we were exchanging affections, I thank God we were not so close. If not, we could have done the unthinkable. I pray that we'll learn how to communicate whatever we go through as lovers, married people, or whatever. People become very vulnerable when they get to certain situations. There's no mistake in cheating. Cheating is intentional. For me, if you find your partner cheating or cheated, if you know you can't handle the situation, let the person go, because you may use the situation against your partner. So for me, I will forgive you, but I will let you go irrespective of how much I love this person. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's heavy. All right. Good evening, crew members. My advice is that the woman should pray to God first until her conscience is clear. Secondly, she should just forgive herself. And thirdly, before she would tell her husband, she should test the man's level of maturity first, because some people are not matured enough to process some secrets. But with God's intervention, after praying, will help solve the whole issue. Last, her husband will forgive her once God is already involved. Shalom, Zipporah from Nigeria. Thank you, Zipporah, for that message. Whew, all right. It's been very, very interesting, and I want us to round our submissions on this particular topic because, yeah, our time is almost up, Doc.
I acknowledge.
No, before you continue, somebody actually sent me a message. Not somebody, my producer Martin. He sent a message to me. It's very interesting, and the message that he's asking is, Martin, I'm going to let everybody know you today. So the question that he's asking now is that, So what if the sex that was had, the woman enjoyed it, and then one way or the other, she, ended up going back and back. Maybe she enjoyed the sex with this pastor more than she does with her husband.
Well, that's a different scenario. I mean, that's a very different scenario.
Yeah.
But I think that it's interesting because I think many of the callers feel that whether she did it once or she did it multiple times, they have strong feelings about her behavior in that. I would say...
And they're clearly saying that it came with intent.
Exactly.
She knew what she was going in for. She knew what it could resort to. And she went in.
And we, well, for myself, I'm going to speak for Reverend as well, is that recognizing the complexity of the situation and the situation that she was in terms of the hierarchy of power there, the abuse of trust, etc. But just emphasizing that when we are in those situations, we do have our own power. And when we have conversations like this, we need to really, really emphasize that. It is the recognition that, yes, we may be put into certain situations, but how we respond to it is within our power as well. And there are situations when people try to take that power from you, physically, psychologically, but we need to acknowledge that happens and recognize that within ourselves, we have the power to change the outcome as well. And so, it's complex one way or the other. Time is really, really important for her to forgive herself and for her to process what she's done. And also, if she does choose to tell her husband, to give him the time to respond as well. But in all of this, I think that just the abuse of power that has happened in this is really, really important to acknowledge. Whether the intent was there or not, there has been an abuse of power, and that's something that we really, really, really need to acknowledge.
That's true. That's true. Rev.
Martin's question is very simple. The difference between love and lust.
Okay.
So this one is not love, it's lust.
It's lust.
So the woman is responding to a sexual appetite, and that is lust, and it's not love. So when the man also is doing, the man is also responding to his lust, not love. So it's wrong. What is wrong is wrong. It's like using a counterfeit money to go and buy weed.
You say this often.
They are illegal.
Very illegal.
So all these things that is happening, we must understand that people are people, and there will always be people. But when you fall, don't stay there. Just clean yourself up and move on. Let's be prepared to forgive and let go. And God will have mercy on all of us.
Briefly, the last question I want to ask. What if she decides not to speak on it to her husband and she keeps it to herself? What could that possibly do to her? Dr. Vanessa, 30 seconds, please.
It could eat her up. It could consume her. But in the same token, because we are humans and we are complex, it may be that she's able to contain it, forgive herself, and move forward. So it's difficult to predict, but there are different ways in which she could respond, definitely.
Okay.
Consume her, or she could completely forgive herself and move forward. But I always say with this, in some way, somehow, lies do manifest, whether it's now or later.
There is nothing
in
hidden
ways.
under the sun.
Exactly.
No matter what you do, it will come out. My goodness, Reverend.
So it's true, when such situations happen, you must understand your pride, your family, and the consequences it could have on you.
Okay.
So if you're not careful, you live with it till you die. And two, the damning consequences when it blows out will have on you and your family. So we need to nurse this issue and make sure that at the appropriate time we come out. But be confident even when the marriage collapses. No, it's true, because you see, when God forgives me and you leave me, God will let somebody marry me.
Well, that's true, though. Yeah. That's so true. That's so true. Thank you to all of you who called into the show. Let me read this message. Good evening. This program is educative. I won't miss again. Please don't. Thanks very much, Lucinda Kenema. Kenema, Sierra Leone. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Do we have some more? Okay, all right. So thank you once again to all of you who sent in your messages. For those of you who called into the show, we appreciate you so much. Let me reiterate this, that on the 14th of February, we are all converging to have a wonderful time at the Ike City Hotel. So it's going to be a couples summit. We're going to sit with our counselors. Doc is going to be there. You ask all your questions, and then we answer the questions for you. We eat good meals and have fun together. It's going to be a very beautiful moment on the 14th of February. So get your goodie ready, okay? So we'll be giving you more details right here on Let's Talk. My guests have been Dr. Vanessa Apea, and she's the CEO of Accra London Health Centre. Thank you so much, Doc. And then Reverend Daniel. And Reverend Daniel, we are always very excited to have you. So thank you so much. God bless you. Banana Bread Ghana, thank you so much. Yes, Banana Bread Ghana has brought us some packages for our guests this evening. So thank you. They are located in Dansoman. They make very delicious pastries, okay? So please get in touch with them, or you can follow them on IG. Go check their page out, Banana Bread GH, and come back to thank me later. My name is Esiedua Akomia. Thank you to Ike City Hotel, and thank you to Crystal Spa for my beautiful hair this evening. They're located in East Legon, Shiashi. You can just punch it on Google Maps, CHRISELLE Spa. And when you go, they'll give you the best of service. Trust me, I know what I'm saying. So thank you once again, Crystal Beauty Spa. My name once again is Esiedua Akomia. Have a wonderful evening. See you next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Bye.